Pounders, we are live, back doing what we do best, and that is putting $10 into the big board. Some breaking news. Not right now, but came out yesterday. We have Sanders going to Carolina, going to Foreman stocks you have right now. James Robinson going to New England, sort of strange. Did not see this one coming from New England. They also signed Juju. Um, I still like Tyquan Thornton in his role, especially where he's going at 176-ish. James Robinson, I mean, he's not an efficient running back. So Ramondre Stevenson, safe. Honestly, James Robinson is worse, in my opinion, than Damian Harris. So I think Ramondre Stevenson's stock is extremely safe. We'll see where Damian Harris ends up. Still a few teams that need running backs. We have Jamal Williams going to New Orleans. Super interesting spot. But in best ball, where we want the highest upside for week 15, 16, 17, we can assume right now that Kamara will be back for those weeks. Now in cash games, 10, 12-man leagues, not the deep tourneys, Jamal's going in a fair spot. But yeah, we'll sort of see where his ADP goes with this news and see how people are adjusting to that. David Montgomery to Detroit, which we covered yesterday. I mean, it's a good spot for him. High-powered offense. They could be playing from behind. He could play on all three downs, so it's not the best for Swift. That being said, Swift has fallen to high 60s, 70s a few drafts, and we have scooped him there. And you got to think of this offseason right now as your portfolio, right? This tournament is just one piece of your portfolio. It's one stock. So the player I like to use as a good example is Anthony Richardson. If you missed him in the 20th, the 19th, the 18th, the 17th round, it's going to be tough to buy at his absolute high point in the 13th round, right? So maybe you just wait till the next tournament. You just bet on that stock busting, and you wait till the next tournament where all the ADPs and everyone's exposures get reset. And now we're on even playing fields. So that's the way I like to think of it. That's the way I like to think of this whole offseason. Kind of cut it up into different stocks, into different tournaments where all these ADPs will get reset. Quick note, tonight we are doing a live draft with Best Ball Nation. It's the second one if you didn't catch the first show. It's always a fun show, super knowledge-based, big brain plays only in the chat. That's tonight at 8:30 Eastern. We have a small little giveaway. It's more of a competition between the Pounders. 3 towels going to the highest finishes on the big board. All you have to do is like the video, be subscribed. You don't have to like the video, but if you want to, that adds to your luck factor. We're gonna be doing that for I think every single tournament. We're just gonna keep buying these towels. Roger Goodell clown nose towels. Anything else? We have Alexander Madison signed a 2-year deal with the Vikings. Until we know where Dalvin ends up, I mean, Alexander Madison's looking pretty juicy right now. I'm not reaching on him, but I'm happy with the stocks that I do have. And yeah, any other breaking news, we'll have it up on the Twitter machine here, and we'll just burst it out. So let's get into a draft. We have a few people in the live chat. A Nooners draft again, 2 days in a row. We're double dipping into the content today as well, so we're looking forward to it. More drafts, the better. Let's do our little countdown here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jumping in. Waiting on one person. Wow. This is almost like a fully badgeless draft. Don't think a lot of Pounders got into this one. So this is going to be extra juicy for us. I'm feeling a good one here. Sorry, fellas. Lee, what's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. Elims, Fancy Dysfunctional, Benjamin May. Tell me you got in. 104 tries, 104 drafts. ER7, welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys showing up to the Nooners draft. Had to. Had to. Nope, not today. Benjamin May is in. Bez G88. Where are you at? At the 9 spot. At the 9 spot. Party Moose, Blue Boss. I'm not recognizing a lot of these names. Missed it barely, Lee says. It's all right. Honestly, sometimes you learn more by watching. You can learn by doing. You can learn by hearing. We're going to incorporate all three of these. I'm hoping we get a Tyreek Hill here. I would like Tyreek to fall to us. I miss getting Tyreek every single time at the 7 spot. Early into these tournaments, you were guaranteed Tyreek at the 7 spot. Now he's going sometimes in front of Kelsey. You can see his ADP starting to fall. There he goes at the 4 spot. Exactly. Yo, lucky I didn't get in. Hell yeah. We don't need that. We don't need you in this draft. We'll keep it nice and light. I wouldn't mind getting Kelsey at 7. That's what's gonna happen. Honestly, this is probably the first time you guys seen me draft Kelsey. We're really only taking him at 7 and 8. Well, 7 and later, I should say. Ha. 3%. So we'll move up to 4% Kelsey now. We'll take him more at 5 and 6 in the 18 round drafts. But in the 20 round drafts, like we've covered, it's just so easy to make up those points at tight end by going 3 late tight ends. You really get rid of that elite tight end advantage, especially where people are going to reach on like wide receivers in that 20th round and miss, and you can just get like a Jake Ferguson or Jelani Woods in the 19th, 18th. Now Conklin and Henry, they've moved up, but we were getting Henry in the last round with Conklin the first 2 weeks. So we see some of these ADPs shifting, and honestly, no one's really shifted in a negative manner. All of our takes have been super sharp so far. I can't really identify someone that maybe Swift. Swift, we can now lower him a little bit. I'm probably putting Aaron Jones above Swift. That's about it. We've been super lucky with news and landing spots, and it takes a little bit of luck this time of year as well. But we try to identify those value pockets. I just pulled up one of my first drafts the other day, getting Amon-Ra at 21 and Cooper Kupp. And then Jamo Williams, his ADP started in the 70s. Now he's at 58. Let's see what happens here. We see Wilson go at the 13 spot. What's happening in New York? Are they just I feel like they're being held hostage right now by Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers says, "Hey, sign Alan Lazard." Okay, we did it, Aaron. We signed him. Okay, yeah, we're not going to give you Aaron Rodgers unless you give us a first round pick. And there's just something sketchy going on there in New York and Green Bay. Green Bay's now, I'm assuming they're asking for the bag. Maybe we go with Patty Mahomes, Kelsey start. See if he drops it to us. It's not like it's different, but where we only have 3 Kelsey teams, I don't know if we have a Kelsey Mahomes. Let's see how many Mahomes stacks or exposures I have because it's not a lot as well. Yeah, 3. So 4 Mahomes, 4 Kelsey through 102 drafts. Honestly, like, I would way rather Jalen Hurts. I'd rather Josh Allen, and where they've been falling to this back range, that's where we've been selecting them. but we're running out of time, and we wanna get some Mahomes, we wanna get a little bit of Kelsey. They are players that can blow up on any given week, and there's a potential that you need them for week 17. There's no doubt. When we talk about value and, draft position, they've been falling towards the back. We've seen these wide receivers skip in front of them. Jalen Waddle skipped in front of Mahomes, probably gonna skip ahead of Josh Allen as well. 18. Oh, yeah, it's point 0.2 away, so it's definitely happening. Staying ahead of the ADPs is important. Keeping track of the ADPs as well can help you out. Olave's going at the 2-3 turn now. I mean, this room so far, it's being drafted as a pretty sharp room. Wide receivers coming off the board early. Josh Allen, Diggs, it's typical. It's typical. I need to win lunch money for my kids. Let's go. NFL draft starts at like late April. Yeah, it's late April. ER7 says, I missed a little bit yesterday. What's your thoughts on Zeke and Malik Davis? Uh, I don't know. I don't think there's really too many good landing spots for Zeke. I saw Mason from Fancy Flock tweet out something today about some potential landing spots, and I didn't like most of them. Like one of them's, I guess, KC, but does KC really want a dusty running back in Zeke? Like Isaiah Pacheco shows a lot more oomph right now than a Zeke can. So I don't know how much he can actually help the Chiefs. He posted the Pats, but I don't think that makes sense because they just got Robinson, which is so stupid. It's fine for Ramondre Stevenson's value, though. What do we pick? I know we need receivers. Do we just double tap receiver here? We're going to have to find value at running back. It's tough to go QB tight end and then go and get, an elite running back as well. Your wide receiver room is going to look pretty bad. So I think we have to double tap wide receiver here. And we can find value, especially in this range. There's a lot of values. Well, I just saw earlier today too, Chase Edmonds going to Tampa Bay. I mean, could it have a small effect on the amount of passes Rachaad White catches? Like, potentially. It's a 1-year deal, so who knows? He might not even see the field. But yeah, we've been trying to stay on top of all the free agency moves, and one tactic is to actually draft around that news. If you're the first one on the news, right, it breaks, you jump in a draft, and people don't know either to avoid a player because their ADP should be falling, or to go up and scoop a player because their ADP's rising in a good way. Those are tactics that you can use to your advantage. Now, the thing that happens, you see a lot of overreactors. And here's just a random example of DeAndre Hopkins lands in wherever. Let's say he lands in KC. You'll see people pick him right here at 7. It's like, hold up. I know you want shares of DeAndre Hopkins in KC, but where do we think his ADP will average out? Where do we think it's going to fall at? And then you also have to think, all right, 70% of the league is full and they got him at 31 to 34. Do I want to go all in on that player? So you want to see, all right, should his ADP be 12 or 13? Do we think that's where it's going to average out at? Well, I'm not going to reach for him at 6 right now because if I just wait 3, 4 days, people will calm down and then I can get him at 12. I don't hate it for Edmonds in Tampa Bay. No, it's not a bad spot for Edmonds at all. I mean, Rashad White can catch passes, so I don't know how much sense it really makes for the team. I like Najee here. I like Christian Watson. I think Christian Watson would fit this build really well. Where's our next two pick? 55 and 66. So maybe we get like a JSN to fall to us or one of these two. Let's go crew. I mean, we have Mark Andrews falling. It's so juicy, but we already have a tight end. Again, it's kind of annoying when you go at Travis Kelce. If a value does fall to you at tight end, you're pretty much wrapped up. Like, you go Kelce in the first round, unless an absolute extreme value falls to you, but it can't even be Mark Andrews 15 picks after ADP. Like, you really shouldn't be picking a tight end until 17 to 20. That is the amount of draft capital that you're spending on Kelce in the first round instead of picking an elite wide receiver. What's the best QB options for Watson if Rodgers leaves? It honestly is looking like Jordan Love. It's looking like Jordan Love. And would his ADP fall too much? I don't think so because people are already taking that into account. And instead of Christian Watson falling, you're seeing some of these other receivers go in front of him. So he's still going in the same range, but people are preferring these receivers over him. We need, yeah, we're going to put off running back. Ignore this whole crew here all the way to 80. Then we're going to try to scoop two guys in this range. 2-3 guys. Two more receivers, two running backs in this range. And we'll see how we're looking. I think that's going to be the best option. It's just so hard to go elite QB, elite tight end, and look good everywhere. We'll try our best. See Mark Andrews go at 44. It's nice. It's real nice. Lamar Jackson still on the board. Falling a few picks here. Again, like the value, if it falls to you at QB, it's extremely tough to take it when you have Mahomes going in the second round. You're using a lot of draft capital on the onesie position if you go another early QB or another early tight end. Drake London at 48. He's one of my favorite fades right now. Terry McLaurin at 49. Like, we were drafting DJ Moore over Drake London every time, but now with DJ Moore out of this range, I still prefer Terry. Keenan Allen goes here at 47. I think you can safely move him in this range. Like, it's not a ridiculous reach now that we know he's ending up back in the Chargers. He finishes wide receiver 1 week 18. He was part of our Battle Royale winning lineup. As a bring back stack for our Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy lineup. Who'd have thought Russell Wilson made some money last year? Tyler Lockett goes at 51. Interesting. Interesting. Oh my god. Like, the value at tight end right now is looking good with TJ Hawkinson, the value at QB. Like, exactly what we don't want to be on the board right now is exactly what's falling. Scoop these guys up, please. Yep, that's one. I wouldn't mind going like a JSN here. Taking a shot on JSN. We see Baker Mayfield's going to Tampa Bay. How much upside can Baker Mayfield provide Chris Godwin? I would rather just take a shot with the unknown in JSN. Jameson Williams, I love the player. I love the player. I just think that Jared Goff's going to limit him to some extent. I don't think he really has the arm for a Jameson Williams, but he should be that boom bust guy. 9 targets, 1 catch, 41-yard touchdown. Uh, that that's a that's a pretty funny stat line. 9 targets, 1 catch, 41-yard touchdown. It's just Jared Goff's accuracy, you're just not able to get it to him. Lee says, "For some odd reason, I thought Big Boy would be closing in September and the draft was in September." No, you're good. You're good. Little brain fart. This draft is gonna be full so fast. Already 2/3 full. Already a good amount of movement, but you'll see more movement in the drafts that take longer to fill, like the $25 BBMs, and that's when it's gonna be even more important to take note of these ADPs. But I think right now in the offseason, these ADPs are extremely sharp compared to last year, where those ADPs were at that time of the season. These ADPs are extremely sharp. Maybe if I had to add something is maybe we're a little too high on the rookies on these in these ADPs, uh, but again, people are shooting for upside, and sometimes the unknown is that upside. Rand Stan, welcome to the live stream, my man. We snuck in here without you. See James falling a little bit. Like Jahmyr Gibbs came into the combine a little smaller than people would want as their 3 down back, and in half point PPR, how much upside can he provide you? Obviously, it's gonna depend on where he lands. We see Aaron Jones go in front of him. I agree with that. We need another receiver here, and then I'll be happy. Then we can switch to running back. I mean, I like one of these 2. Pickens is another one of my fades this year in this range, just because the target share was it just wasn't extremely high. You still have Deontay Johnson there. You have Pat Freiermuth. You have Najee Harris. So a lot of target hogs. Yeah, I noticed by June the rookie hype settles down, and it will. Some are going to get boosted up depending on what team they're on and who they have to beat out for a roster spot. But some running backs are going to get drafted on a team where there's already 2 studs, like Green Bay. Maybe try to bring in a rookie running back with Aaron Jones getting older. You still have AJ Dillon there, who's relatively young. But yeah, we've been drafting Treylon Burks over George Pickens. Tyler, welcome to the live stream. Says, "What's your thoughts on Pitts this season? Heard you say fading London, so figure you may be fading him too, just to fade that offense." Well, we know we have the returning offensive coordinator. They ran the ball the most of any team last year. The thing with Pitts is in the onesie position in tight ends, he doesn't have to score as many points to make it worth it at that position because the position as a whole is lower scoring. So I'd rather take a shot on Pitts in that offense than I would Drake London. Um, that being said, I'm not gonna own like 12, 13% of Pitts. I will be on pace around 7, 8%. So like right at market value. It's a good question. TB Bucks, welcome to the live stream Nooners draft. We're doing good. We're doing good. It's at least noon here on the East Coast. But Tyler, it's a good question. It's a good question. You see all like the Twitter hype on Drake London, like, oh, he had a 31% target share. And Tyler's actually gonna release a short on our page. I think it's gonna come out tonight on Drake London specifically. All that hype about the target share and the offense, 31%, la di da, was with Pitts out on injury. So now those 2 are still gonna be the dominant 2 targets in that offense, but it's still a run first team. See some of these running backs coming off the board now. Gabriel Davis off at 74. I like the start so far. Gabe Davis, I'm not super high on, but I get it. I get it with best ball. Deontay Johnson, I like is a nice floor play. Deontay Johnson makes sense here as your wide receiver 3. He's not gonna make sense typically if he's like your wide receiver 5 in this range because he's gonna provide a floor. He's not really gonna be able to hit that, you know, 2 touchdown ceiling. Is it possible? It is, but he's more of that slot guy. We see some of these running backs fly off the board. We're not picking Joe Mixon in this range. I just think it's ugly. We'll see if Pacheco falls. We're hoping to get Cam Akers here, but I wouldn't mind going up and getting 2 of these guys as well. Maybe we just don't force it. I haven't been drafting Pacheco that much. Maybe we don't force it here. I'm liking the way this wide receiver group is coming along after starting elite QB, elite tight end. Ah, I wanted Dotson though. Interesting, interesting. So we pick at 99 and then no, 90 and 103. 90 and 103. Let's go James Cook. TB Bucks says the drafts last night were interesting, got some fun builds, didn't see the normal names drafting with me. Yeah, that's always good. It's always good when the usual suspects aren't around to steal all your picks, i.e., the Pounders. But guys, if you haven't already, drop a like on the live stream, subscribe if you like best ball content. If you want to get in some of these live drafts with us, hit the bell for notifications so you know when we go live. Ben got into his first draft today, drafting at the 9 spot. Start with JT, Josh Jacobs. At running back, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jerry Jeudy, Marquise Brown, Kyle Pitts. I like this squad so far. I think this is a really good start. Now, am I drafting JT ahead of the elite wide receivers? Probably not, but I like how he balanced it. Rashad Bateman coming in. I like it. I like it. I like it. And I want Edmonds to TB. Yeah, we talked about it. If anything, it's going to hurt a little bit of Rashad White's third down role, but I don't know. If Denver's just giving him away like that, you gotta think that there's not too much left in the tank for Chase. Wow. Lee likes the morning drafts. Rough, rough. We are gonna be on tonight at 8:30 Eastern with Best Ball Nation, another dual draft, another great mind in the best ball space. He's always fun too. Always got a lot of good insight. See who falls to us. 103. Yeah. Like, we'll see if Zay Flowers falls to 103, but I doubt it. This range is just so nice for running backs. Like, stack up a QB, stack up a tight end, stack up your wide receivers, catch up, and then just go 2 running backs in this range. Just seems like the play to do, to be honest. Jordan Addison falling. Okay, he's gone. Get that out of our heads. I think we move Khalil Herbert above Rashad White for now, with David Montgomery going to Detroit. Now, I expect them to bring in someone else. We don't know who that's gonna be. Like, if Damien Harris lands here, it's ugly, but Damien Harris could also go to Cincy, he could also go to the Chargers. So, let's go Khalil Herbert here. Yeah. Zay is one of my favorite picks here. I agree. His tape is it's electric. It really is. I'm strictly NFL, my man. I stick to one sport. I stick to the one sport. Gotta stick to what you're good at, and it allows me to just focus my energy and all my research in one place, so I can really just zone in. Try not to spread myself too thin. Holy smokes. Will Levis going for 75 bucks in my dynasty league. Interesting, interesting. It's $1,000 budget. This is when everyone has, like, no money too. After I'm done drafting that dynasty league, I'm gonna post it up on the Twitter machine at Fantasy Dog Pound. You guys can, go berate me with all my bad picks. But, I mean, so far for first time doing an auction, first time for doing a dynasty league, I think it's coming out pretty good. No bias, no bias, no bias. All set. Darren Waller goes at 91, doesn't make it to the 8-9 turn, which is I've seen at least a lot of Waller Daniel Jones if he makes it to this range, or it we'll see if he makes it back to 102. He shouldn't. Daniel Jones' ADP should be right near Dax, in my opinion. It should be right here. We can't go QB, so we want these QBs off the board. We want and need these QBs off the board. We see Tua get selected in front of Dak. It's not the most egregious, but where you don't have anyone on Miami and you don't have anyone on Dallas, I'm probably just going Daniel Jones. He goes both. That's interesting. And I don't hate it, right? I don't love it because you're not stacking anyone with the pocket passer, but I don't mind fading not Christian, Kirk Cousins in this range because you see the 1 seed get Justin Jefferson 90% of the time, and there always seems to be stacking him with Kirk Cousins. I do like that he tried to be different here. I think Trey Lance and Daniel Jones just getting 2 rushing QBs, that would have been interesting. But yeah, I don't love how this is coming out, having more running backs than receivers through 9 rounds. Yes, get these QBs off the board, please, please. Is Zay gonna fall to us? He's got 5 receivers, he's got 4 receivers. You gotta think one of them's gonna take the rookie if they know his name. Maybe not. Come back to us, Zay. Come back home. Come back home. No, Zay doesn't fall in normal drafts. Oh my god, it's at double zeros. It's at triple zeros, it hasn't updated. Did I lag out? What's happening? Oh my god. Did that happen for everyone else? That was like a 10-second. No, it must have been the internet. Oh, is he on? Let's go! Let's go. Let's go. Psyched. Alright, we got 2 rookie wide receivers, so we do have to find some targets for, like, early in the season. We know the rookies tend to start off a little slower. I'm psyched with that, though. I'm psyched with that. We're up in 10 picks. I wouldn't mind bringing in an AJ Dillon here. Juju. What do we think about Juju in this range going to the Patriots? I don't I would just rather Tyquan Thornton, I think, at and that's what we've been doing at 174. If he was returning back to KC, like, yeah, sure, I get it. And his ADP was here because people thought Patrick Mahomes was gonna be throwing him the ball on this high-powered offense. He's gotta go where? Like, where do we put him now? Above Alec Pierce, he's my boy. Above Curtis Samuel, arguably, maybe right after Curtis Samuel, I'm putting Tyquan Thornton and Tim Patrick above him. Sure, if you wanna put Juju ahead of Nico Collins since they brought in, Robert Woods there, that's fine. Just one draft right now, but we are coming back tonight at 8:30 Eastern for a dual draft with Best Ball Nation on the live stream. Double dipping in barbecue sauce fantasy content today. Ben is drafting at the 9 spot, so we can't really say much here. He's got Jared Goff to go along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like that. I like that. He's got Jerry Jeudy, could reach up for Russell Wilson, and then go like a Li Patrick would be interesting. I saw you do that, TB Bucks, in that lineup that you posted on the Twitter machine, doing a little Russell Wilson with Jerry Jeudy and Tim Patrick. Maybe Sutton gets traded, and now that lineup's looking nice. But there's been some rumblings about Sutton moving on or Jerry Jeudy from Denver. If that happens, Tim Patrick at 180 is a steal. I know he's old, but this dude's gonna be a red zone target. He's like 6'3", so he'll be a red zone target for Russ. It's not dynasty, you just need him for 1 year. Turning from the ACL, though, you don't expect him to start off too fast. Again, it's, it's like a 16th round pick. Paris Campbell signs with the Giants, excuse me. That's interesting. Paris Campbell to the Giants. I'm telling you, fade Hodgins. Fade Hodgins in this range. I wouldn't be surprised if Elijah Moore gets moved. Paris Campbell to the Giants. Does he become the wide receiver 1? Is Paris Campbell the wide receiver 1 for the Giants right now? Wow. I think we have to bring in DPJ here. We're picking at 127. Nah, I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't know why this is super laggy right now, but it is. Hopefully, we got AJ Dillon. Yeah, I like that for Campbell. I think that's a really good landing spot for Campbell, no doubt. Does Robinson to the Patriots steer you away from Stevenson? No. Honestly, I'd rather Robinson be there, be a super inefficient running back than Damien Harris returning. What is happening on Underdog right now? I can't tell if it's Underdog or my internet. Like, am I cutting out? Because if I'm not cutting out, then it has to do with Underdog. I think people are basing it on his combine not being great. You talking about Zay Flowers? I thought his combine was okay. Yeah. Artie, welcome to the live stream, my man. He did tear his ACL all the way back on August 2nd, so thankfully he'll have 13 months to recover before the season starts. That is a long time. Robinson was an Achilles, though, if that's what we're talking about. But, yeah, we have a hostage situation between Green Bay and the Jets. The Jets signed Allen Lazard, presumably per request of Aaron Rodgers, and now Green Bay has yet to trade Rodgers to the Jets. Maybe the Packers are trying to get Elijah Moore in return. It's just a hunch. It's just a hunch. Haven't read it anywhere. It's just a thought. It's a good way to get better at receiver, where you already have rookies with Dobbs and Christian Watson. We saw the growing pains last year. What's a good way to get better quickly at the wide receiver position? I mean, free agency, but it's it's ugly. Free agency's ugly. Artie's referring to Tim Patrick, yeah. Yeah, it happened in the offseason during training camp, I believe. I remember I got that notification and my jaw just sunk. My number 1 owned wide receiver, I think player, at 24% at the time. We ended up with 28% Christian Watson to make up for it, though. We drafted another, like, 2, 300 teams after we got that news. Brought our ownership down to 16% Tim Patrick. 1 of every 6 teams had Tim Patrick on it, done for the season. And we did really well, so it worked out. It worked out. And that's where you can miss on a 14th rounder, and you can have that strong stance where you're drafting that same 14th rounder every single time, and if you miss, it's not a big deal. But if you hit, goddamn. Yeah, we're gonna go Sky here. Especially with the Juju news, I think we have to move Sky up. I don't think, I know. We have to move Sky up. So I'm psyched to get him here. TB Bucks always wait a year on wide receiver after an ACL. Yeah, I know, but we're talking about the 15th round, Tim Patrick, and he was going later. He was going around pick 200 when these drafts started, so we have been getting less of him in this range, but maybe now we add in a little Paris Campbell to the Giants, especially with those Danny Jones stacks. That's super interesting. Paris Campbell to the Giants. They re-signed Sterling Shepard, so obviously they're just expecting him to get hurt again. He's great when healthy, but it must be or the other thing is maybe Wan'Dale Robinson's recovery isn't looking, uh, to be on track. Could be another tell, but again, they have some injuries in this wide receiver room, bringing Paris Campbell a little more depth. Richie James, I've been saying, like, don't like, Richie James is just a guy. He's a jag, just a guy. If you want someone that's gonna get targets, 233, 234 ADP, Russell Gage. Same player last round. How do we feel about Brees? I'm gonna have some exposure to him, and I expect him to start the season slow. I don't think that the Jets are gonna go out there and just run the hell out of him, especially where they have a pretty deep running back room. They don't have to do that. So I'm gonna be a little lower than the field. I have 6% Brees Hall. You don't wanna have 0% because this is a guy that can have those explosion type weeks, and he does manage a way to get healthier for week 15, 16, 17. Maybe the Jets are in playoff contention, and then they need to run him into the ground. We are hoping Elijah Mitchell falls here. It wouldn't be the worst to get, like, Devon Achane, but yeah, Hodgins, even when I've had Daniel Jones, I think I said it every single time, I cringe when I select him. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell goes. It's a good pick for this guy's roster too. I like this kid's team. Ugly range, ugly range, ugly range. Oh, no. Alright. I don't know why it's lagging. I click on draft and it doesn't even do it. We're gonna go get our guy, Pierce. I wouldn't mind going back down here with the P. Ryan, Damian Harris, Tajee Spears. I'll just take a shot on someone down here rather than if Elijah Moore was there, we would've wanted him, but Rashawn Johnson, Tank Bigsby, Jeff Wilson even. We'll take our shots down here. Where I think wide receiver starts to dry up pretty quick. Ben, welcome to the live stream, my man. We're gonna be back tonight at 8:30 with Best Ball Nation. It's 8:30 Eastern. It's a double dip, double dip. TB Bucks says I'm trying to get a little more Brees now, but I'm low on him as well. Yeah, it's just like we know what he's capable of. That being said, I don't think they're gonna use him as like an absolute workhorse back just because of the injury. And they probably want him for playoffs. Like if you think like an NFL team, you got a guy coming off an ACL, you're not gonna put him in there and give him 20 rushes a game, especially when you have Carter, you have Zonovan Knight. Ben's in Cali, 10 AM. Damn, it snowed 2 feet the other day. I was out there slaving. We had a tree fall down, like, right next to the house. Still have to cut that up. Instead, we're here doing content for the boys and the gals. Look at these QBs fall. Guess they're on ADP, but we need these QBs off the board. Really can't even look at tight ends yet. Our next pick's gonna be at 162. With Sanders going to Carolina, it's not good for Foreman's outlook. We need these QBs off the board, and we need either Rashid Shaheed or we're looking at like this right now. Antonio Gibson just doesn't really excite me all that much. He has a role in the passing game, but again, it's thank God he's gone. It's half point PPR. I don't think we can afford to go him. Let's bring in Samaje. Oh my God. Underdog, fix your stuff. And Damien Harris, I'm actually a little higher on Harris right now with the teams that are starting to fill at running back, because who still needs a running back, right? I mean, Chicago, that wouldn't be a bad spot. They typically run first offense. You have the Chargers, KC, Cincy. So there's some good landing spots for Damien Harris. And Singletary, I guess if you wanna we can add Singletary on there. He does caught around 40 balls the last 2 years, so these are cheap running backs for these 0 RB builds. It's just tough that we went 2 rookies, but we'll only need 2 tight ends, we'll only need 2 QBs. That allows us to go, in a 20-round draft, at least 16, so 8 and 8, or 7 running backs and 9 receivers, most likely. Little pre-plan. Foreman 20%. I mean, it wasn't a bad pick, right? Foreman was going super late, didn't have the most upside to passing game, but he had those 100-yard games. He had a 2 touchdown game last year, put it in the end 5 times, averaged around 4.5 yards per carry. But yeah, Sanders going to Carolina. kinda squashes that. If I have these 3 RBs, I'm probably going, like, an upside rookie instead of a veteran right here with that pick. Damien Harris off the board. Let's see. Rashid Shaheed's still there. I doubt he falls back to us. Kinda wait and see. Nice. 20% Sanders too, though. I don't know how I feel about Sanders just yet. I really haven't thought about his landing spot in Carolina. Playing from behind, it seems like they could use 3 running backs there. I don't think it's really a good spot for him for where he's going, 'cause he's going in a range where you have a lot of running backs with upside. Khalil Herbert, I would take over him. David Montgomery went at 82 here. Seems early. Uh, what do we wanna do here? I hate this range. We're typically going wide receiver here, but we need to catch up still at running back. Like, I'm typically reaching out for a Tyquan Thornton, but let's let's give him to someone else, or he might even come back to us. There's a lot of badgeless people here. We've sort of been doing what we want, but this guy next to us has been pretty sharp. That being said, going Josh Allen and the 2 rookies isn't my favorite. Like, I'm fine with going Josh Allen and Anthony Richardson, but if Richardson hits, then you don't need Bryce Young, so it doesn't really make too much sense to do that. Nice. Yeah, you hit on Montgomery. Art, I mean, it's gonna be a split backfield. Does Montgomery take over the role of Jamal Williams in the red zone within the 5? Probably. Yeah. We officially guilted Art into drafting rookies this offseason. Took a lot of guilting on the Twitter machine. Samaje Perine in Denver. I can't get enough of this. I really can't get enough of this. Playing behind Javonte Williams should have a change of pace back role anyways, even if Javonte Williams doesn't get hurt. Returning from pretty bad ACL tear, significantly worse than Breece Hall's. Samaje seems like a nice high upside handcuff, sorta like Elijah Mitchell. Yeah. Monty can play in the passing game too more than Jamal, which I think ends up hurting Swift potentially more than Jamal Williams. I wouldn't mind getting Rashawn Johnson here. Again, he's our boy, Tyquan Thornton. I don't think the Juju news really hurts him too much. Maybe we slow down a little bit and we get some Paris Campbell late. But again, he's going near Marvin Mims and Kendre Miller. So I haven't been getting any Paris Campbell just because of this range. We're always going one of these rookies, Kincaid, but we'll see. Now that he's in with the Giants, I mean, he's got to be the wide receiver 1 over there. Darren Wallers, if he's healthy, will be the wide receiver 1. We have, all right. We have Paris Campbell on 5. 5%. It's actually much higher than I thought. So we lucked our way into that, no doubt, no doubt. And you wanna know what? The Paris Campbell news, I'm just realizing how frigging good it actually is for us right now, and I'll show you why after this pick. Holy smokes. I am all in on Indy. I have 34% Alec Pierce, 26% Jelani Woods, 14% Michael Pittman. That Paris Campbell news is actually fire. That is actually fire. Oh, good, Rashawn Johnson's still there. Okay. Yes. Let's bring in Rashawn Johnson. Catching up. We're catching up. I don't care if my last QB's, like, correlated or not correlated. It's whatever. We have Patrick Mahomes. This could be a 1 QB build, to be honest. All for Levis to be the QB, and you have none of him. I know. Honestly, we'll see. We'll see who ends up in Indy. If it's Anthony Richardson, at least we know he can throw the deep ball. Alec Pierce will be that guy. Rumor mill, Colts want a shot at Lamar. Imagine. Imagine that. I would have 14 lineups in the finals. No, I'm just kidding. It takes a lot to push your lineups through week 15, 16, 17. I do think that we'll have a really good advance rate from week 14 to 15, and that's kind of indicative of your success. Not as much how you did week 15, 16, 17, because that takes a lot of luck. You could have the best lineup going in. Um, the kid who follows us on Twitter, what's his name? King Cap. He won BBM most points, BBM 4, most points of any lineup by the end of week 14, $1 million. And I think he was a first round knockout week 15. So just goes to show. He had the number 1 draft that year. First round knockout. So super, super interesting. That's why you want to get different correlations, different exposures. Like if you're not as high on another player going in the same range, but that other player still has a chance to have a spike week, you should have some exposure to them, even if they're going around your favorite guy, like Alec Pierce. That's why my exposures aren't ridiculously high with our number 1 player falling at 34% with Alec Pierce. And you'll see it's mostly the guys that I'm all in on or, really high on are these players that go after round 12. That's when I really start zoning in. But before round 12, those players have a much higher chance of all spiking. I'm gonna have a little more exposure to each player. We'll have my fades. Even a fade of Drake London is gonna be 3, 2, 3, 4%. It's not gonna be 0. All depends where they fall to. I don't really like Tim Patrick for this lineup. I wouldn't mind bringing in Trey McBride here. You have Higbee falling quite a freaking bit too. I like Jaylen Warren. I like Henry Miller. Ugh, gross. Gross. Let's just lock in Tyler Higbee. We're done at tight end. We got him 19 picks after ADP. I liked there was only 4 puppies last year. I liked the 4th one best. I thought the late puppy was the best. Let me pull up. And we made the mistake of wasn't really a mistake. I really want to test our theory and really hit it hard with 500 drafts last year, and we did a lot of cash games. And we did around 120 tournaments, and in those tournaments, we had an advance rate of 30, just over 31.5%. That included the big dog, um, everything. We'll do a couple big dogs this offseason as well, take some shots, but that lineup for the big dog was my best draft of the year, and it almost busted completely. I had Lamar and Mark Andrews, and after those first 4 games, I had, like, a 200-point lead on 2nd place, and then everyone just started getting hurt, and I barely squeaked into round 2 after having a 2 to 300-point lead. Jamar Chase got hurt, but yeah, Puppy 4 was fun. Where's the puppy? Puppy 3 was really good as well. It's tough, like, there's positives and negatives. Where you guys are very involved right now in the off season, the earlier the puppies come out, I would do the first one because you're already involved, where people are just coming back into the off season. Like, this is the sicko football crew, which I love. You're gonna have an advantage on the seasonal drafter that comes in and is like, "Oh, I'm back into fantasy football now. My friends' leagues are starting up." You've been in it the whole time. I think that's where everyone's advantage that's involved right now is. So, I would get into the first puppy if I was you. I'm excited for the seasonal drafters to come back because those rooms are so much easier. You have auto drafters all over the place, and that's when I like to do those midnight drafts, 1 AM drafts, 2 AM. Would like one of these 4, and probably not Marvin Mims. We already have 2 rookie wide receivers. Hunter Henry's at 209 now. Oh my god. I miss getting free Hunter Henry in the 20th and 19th round. What happened to that? What happened to that? So, it's looking like it's gonna be an 8 running back, an 8 wide receiver build just because these 2 are rookies, are gonna have slower starts. Christian Watson, I view as a little more boom bust. So, I still believe I need another receiver here. Just trying to balance it in my head. Of course, the running backs fly off the board. Shit. We'll grab Paris Campbell here. The other thing I can do is just go Patrick Mahomes. Like, let's see at QB. This guy wasted 3 picks at QB, where I don't think you needed 3 QBs with Josh Allen. Do we have anyone else that did crazy stuff at QB, or is everyone pretty balanced? 12 spots balanced, 11 spot only has 1 QB in Trevor Lawrence. The 10 spot has Justin Fields and CJ Stroud. The 9 spot, Ben has Kyler, Russell Wilson, and Jared Goff. That's well balanced. This team's got Burrow, Staffy, and Jimmy G. So everyone's pretty well balanced at QB. If someone went like 2, 3 elite QBs, I like doing those 1 QB builds there. You have just a higher chance to move forward, but yeah, we saw that, Ben. We saw that. He's the number 1 receiver there now. Your Indy all your Indy stock, Alec Pierce to the moon, pending a quarterback situation. We'll come back to that situation after the draft. I'm either gonna be cheering or I'm gonna be in tears. But honestly, I don't think Anthony Richardson's really bad for Alec Pierce. We know he didn't have the highest completion rate, but the dude's got an arm. So that's what you want. That's what you want. Like, I would take Anthony Richardson to Indy for my Alec Pierce stock over Jared Goff. Hot take. Hot take. Strong stances win dances. Marvin Mims goes at 206. Weekly drafts midseason. Art. Oh, you're sick. You're sick. That's true though. The seasonal drafters versus the year round. We're done at tight end. I forgot this thing's lagging. Oh, I actually love that pick. I actually love that pick. I wouldn't mind going Ryan Tannehill here. He's the last QB that I'm interested on the board. So we're gonna bring in Ryan Tannehill, and we have 2 picks left. I'm gonna bring in 1 receiver and 1 running back, or 2 running backs. What do you guys think? We have 2 picks left. It's either gonna be 2 running backs or a running back and a wide receiver. I'm sorta leaning 2 running backs with this crew right now. Yeah. I don't know why this is Underdog, fix your stuff, man. We have to have someone on cue at all times, otherwise this weird delay is gonna happen. Zamir White and Pierre Strong, I think's I don't even think you can draft Pierre Strong now. Like, you bring in James Robinson, Bill Belichick's ready to give up on Pierre Strong after 10 rushing attempts for 100 yards. He rushed 10 yards per carry. Like, obviously, he's not gonna keep that pace, but you didn't even give the guy a chance. That's maddening. The James Robinson news, like, even as a Patriots fan, like, I hated it. Like, make no moves at all if you're gonna make dumb moves. Ugh, God, I don't know. Maybe it was a Bill O'Brien move. But one thing we do know is the Myers news and bringing in Juju is not equal. Juju shouldn't command as many targets as Myers did. So for your Tyquan Thornton, for your Hunter Henry, I don't think it's as bad as, it could have been. Juju also has injury history, but Devontae Parker's getting older. I think if anything, it hurts Devontae Parker the most, bringing in Juju. James Robinson's now being drafted. Look at him rise up the board. It's sick. It's so sick. It's so sick. Just got my first Swift share, Lee says, and he went 20 picks after ADP. Yeah, he's been falling into I've seen 70s. So did you get him in the 80s? I think he went early there. Yeah, he went 5 picks early in this draft. I've seen him in the low 70s, so I think we have to drop down Pierre Strong a little bit. Like, this isn't good. Good, good, good. He's off the board. All right, looks like we're gonna be throwing darts at the wall and try to hit on some of these rookies. James Robinson goes, thank God. Paris Campbell, one. Oh my God, what did I do? Phone down, phone down. 1 year, $3 million deal, so it's not a lot of money. That's surprising. 1 year, 3,000,000. He's 25 years old. What's he doing signing a one-year deal? I just broke $100. Yeah, something broke. My phone fell off the stupid stand. Should have bought a $18 stand instead of 15. Idiot. Oh my god. Does that deal make sense to anyone? 1 year, $3,000,000 for someone that's 25 years old? I'm not signing that. Give me a 3-year deal minimum and then readjust when you're 28. And it's not like it was 1 year, like 8,000,000 or 6,000,000. He got 3,000,000? Like, dude must be strapped for cash, or he's washed and he had no options. I don't know how he could be washed at 25, but free agency is not that strong right now, so it's just weird that he only commanded such a little amount. Didn't have a bad season last year for where he was. It's interesting. He's always hurt. Yeah, you're not wrong, Coltron. You're not wrong. But still but still, 1 year, 3,000,000. He goes to the Giants. Like, honestly, it's a good landing spot for him to prove himself, so we need another running back, though. James Cook, Herbert, AJ Dillon, Samaje Perine, Tyjae Spears, Rashawn Johnson, Dwayne McBride. We started with the Mahomes, Kelsey stack, then we caught up at wide receiver with 5 or 4 receivers in a row, James Cook, then we grabbed this crew right here, which I think these are all sharp picks, to be honest, but we'll see come the season time. And again, we're getting news every single day, and these ADPs are gonna fluctuate. And this is how it's gonna be all through free agency. This is how it's gonna be in the NFL draft when Kenny McIntosh ends up in Cleveland as, the number 2 back behind Nick Chubb. The Jerome Ford stock is gonna friggin' plummet. I strongly believe that they're bringing in another running back there. I'm not gonna draft Jerome Ford. Benjamin May, we'll take a peek at the squad at the end. We'll let you finish strong. Oh, you did finish. We'll take a peek at the end so we don't get interrupted. Joshua Kelly, not a good running back. Not a good running back. They might even draft. Okay, so he's gone. I think I'm gonna go Jermichael Hasty here. Someone that has a role in this offense already is a handcuff to ETN. If ETN goes down again, we don't have ETN. I'm not gonna stack him, but I think we need someone with a role here. We have 3 rookies. We have a couple handcuffs. We need touches, basically. Alright, let's take a peek at Benjamin. He drafted in the 9 spot. His QBs are Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. I like those 3. You have your floor plays, and then you have Kyler Murray. Hopefully, has some rushing upside for week 15, 16, 17. Your tight end is Kyle Pitts, Noah Fant, and Jelani Woods. Probably only need 2 there, but I don't mind it in 20-round drafts going 3 tight ends. Running back, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Chase Brown, and Hassan Haskins. I like the Chase Brown pick. The running back room is you got a double anchor running back room, so it's good. It's good. We'll cover the wide receivers. This is gonna get, uh, exited out of after this guy's pick. Let's pull it up. I like the Haskins pick at the end there. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Judy, Marquise Brown, Rashad Bateman, DJ Chark, Rashid Shaheed, 9 picks after ADP, which is always nice. Tyquan Thornton. Yeah, you know I'm gonna like this room. A lot of my guys in here. So solid squad. Really good draft. Really good draft. Denver, you have the Denver correlation, you have the Jared Goff correlation, and Kyler Murray, you have him correlated as well. Really nice draft by Ben. So, guys, we're gonna cap it there. We are coming back at 8:30 PM tonight for a live draft with Best Ball Nation, and you're not gonna miss that one. I know you won't. It's gonna be a great time. So we'll see everyone tonight at 8:30. We appreciate you guys for coming out, adding to the fun of the live stream. Another Nooners draft in the books. We appreciate you guys. Pounders.